Learn English through the story of Bruce Lee. What if a troubled boy from Hong Kong became the world's greatest martial artist? Today you'll learn English through Bruce Lee's unbelievable true story and discover how his words can change your life too. By the end of this story, you'll understand his wisdom and improve your English listening skills effortlessly. So listen carefully and let's begin. Chapter 1. The Dragon Awakens. The streets of Hong Kong buzzed with life. A small boy with fiery eyes ran through the crowds. His name was Bruce Lee, and he was always moving. Bruce loved to play, but he also loved to fight. Some kids bullied him because of his mixed heritage. Bruce refused to back down. He fought back every time. His parents worried about his wild energy. They wanted him to focus, so they sent him to learn Kung Fu. Bruce joined the school of Master Yip Man. At first he was impatient and reckless, but soon he fell in love with martial arts. He trained day and night, perfecting every move. Yet the streets still called to him. Bruce fought often, testing his skills in real battles. His reputation as a tough fighter grew, but his parents feared he would end up in serious trouble. One day, after a big fight, they made a decision. They would send Bruce to America for a fresh start. Bruce was shocked but also curious. He packed his bags, his heart full of dreams. As the ship sailed away, he looked back at Hong Kong. He didn't know it yet, but his journey was just beginning. A new world waited for him across the ocean, and with it, a destiny greater than he could imagine. Chapter 2. A New World. The ship docked in San Francisco under a gray sky. Bruce Lee stepped onto the unfamiliar land, gripping his small suitcase. Everything was different. The language, the people, the smells. He felt alone, but his heart burned with determination. First, he needed money to survive. He washed dishes in a Chinatown restaurant, his hands raw from soap. At night, he slept in a tiny room above the kitchen. But Bruce refused to let hardship break him. In his free time, he practiced Kung Fu in the park. People stopped to watch his lightning-fast moves. One day, a curious student asked if Bruce could teach him. Bruce smiled. This was his chance. He started giving lessons in the park for a small fee. Word spread quickly about the young master from Hong Kong. Soon, he had a group of eager students. Bruce taught them not just kicks and punches, but philosophy. "Be like water," he said, moving with grace and power. One evening, a shy American girl named Linda joined the class. She struggled at first, but never gave up. Bruce admired her quiet strength. They began talking after class, sharing stories over tea. Linda was different. She understood his dreams. Months passed, and their friendship grew deeper. One rainy afternoon, Bruce walked her home under an umbrella. He stopped, looked into her eyes, and confessed his feelings. Linda smiled and took his hand. For the first time since arriving in America, Bruce didn't feel alone. Together, they dreamed of opening a proper martial arts school. Bruce worked harder than ever, teaching by day, studying by night. America was no longer just a strange land. It was becoming home. With Linda by his side, anything seemed possible. The lost boy from Hong Kong had found his purpose, and his legend was just beginning to grow. Chapter 3. The Way of the Warrior. Bruce and Linda saved every dollar they could. Finally, they rented a small space in Oakland. The sign outside read, Jun Fan Gung Fu Institute. Bruce's dream of his own school had come true, but traditional martial artists didn't like his new ideas. Why change what has worked for centuries? They asked. Bruce answered with action, not words. He trained day and night, sweat pouring down his face. His movements became faster, sharper, unlike anything seen before. This is Jeet Kune Do, he told his students. The style of no style, only what works. Some masters called him a troublemaker. They challenged him to prove his skills in fights. Bruce accepted every challenge and won every time. Yet the victories left him empty. He wanted more than just fights. He wanted to share his art. One day, a Hollywood agent saw Bruce's demonstration. "You're incredible," the man said. "We need someone like you." Bruce's heart raced. This was his big chance. But when he arrived at the studio, the producers laughed. An Asian leading man? American audiences won't accept that. They offered him small roles as servants or villains. Bruce's fists clenched, but he kept his cool. He took the roles but vowed to change their minds. Between takes, he trained even harder. His kicks became so fast they sounded like gunshots. Linda watched proudly as he never gave up. One day, Bruce told her, they'll see my true worth. Rejection only made his fire burn brighter. He began writing his own scripts late at night, stories of strong Asian heroes the world needed. The path was difficult, but Bruce kept walking. For a warrior's journey is never easy, and his greatest battles were still ahead. Chapter 4. Rise of the Legend. The phone rang late one evening. Bruce nearly dropped the receiver when he heard the news. "They want you for the Green Hornet," the voice exclaimed. Bruce's hands trembled. This was his moment. On set, he transformed into Kato, the masked hero. His moves dazzled the crew, his kicks blurred on camera. But when the show aired, something strange happened. Audiences didn't cheer for the Green Hornet. They loved Kato. Bruce became an overnight sensation without meaning to. Yet Hollywood still saw him only as a sidekick. Frustrated, he packed his bags for Hong Kong. "Maybe my own people will understand me," he told Linda. Hong Kong producers begged him to star in their films. His first movie, The Big Boss, began shooting in Thailand. The tropical heat was unbearable, the conditions brutal. Bruce pushed through, performing every stunt himself. When the film premiered, theaters overflowed with fans. Lines stretched around blocks. No one had seen anything like it. Bruce Lee became the king of Hong Kong cinema overnight. Fist of Fury came next, breaking all box office records. Now the whole world knew his name. Hollywood executives who once rejected him came begging. Bruce smiled but kept working harder than ever. He created his own company, Concord Productions. At home, he played with his growing children. On set, he demanded perfection from everyone, especially himself. The pressure mounted with each new success. Sleepless nights became normal as he planned his next move. His body ached from years of punishing training, but the world wanted more, always more. Bruce stared at the mirror, seeing the exhaustion in his eyes. Yet, when the camera rolled, the fire returned instantly. The legend kept growing, but at what cost? Chapter 5. The Eternal Dragon. The script for Enter the Dragon landed on Bruce's desk. His hands shook as he read the pages. This was it. Hollywood's first major martial arts film, with him as the star. Months of grueling training followed, pushing his body beyond limits. On set in Hong Kong, the tropical heat was punishing. Bruce performed every stunt, refusing to use a double. "Again!" he'd shout after each take, demanding perfection. At night he collapsed in pain but still planned the next day's scenes. The film wrapped, and Bruce finally allowed himself to rest, but his body had begun whispering warnings he couldn't ignore. Headaches plagued him. His vision sometimes blurred unexpectedly. Doctors found nothing wrong. Just exhaustion, they said. July 20th, 1973, was a day that began like any other. Bruce met with producers to discuss future projects. That afternoon, he complained of a terrible headache. His friend gave him pain medication and urged him to sleep. When they returned hours later, Bruce lay still and silent. The world stopped breathing for a moment. Bruce Lee was gone at just 32 years old. News spread like wildfire across continents. Fans refused to believe it. How could a dragon die so young? Enter the Dragon premiered 3 weeks later to stunned audiences. The screen burned with Bruce's immortal energy and skill. In theaters worldwide, people stood and applauded through tears. Years passed, but Bruce's legend only grew stronger. Every martial arts film carried his influence. Every fighter moved with echoes of his techniques. His philosophy books became Bibles for generations. Linda raised their children with stories of their father's greatness. On the streets of Hong Kong and Los Angeles, murals appeared. "Bruce Lee lives," they proclaimed in bold colors. And in a way, he did. In every punch thrown by an underdog, in every person who refused to accept limits, the dragon's fire still burned bright. His body was mortal, but his spirit became eternal. Bruce Lee's light burned bright, but far too briefly. Yet his legacy continues to inspire millions worldwide. And so we reach the end of Bruce Lee's life story. Now we want to hear from you. If you could learn one thing from Bruce Lee, whether it's his martial arts, philosophy, or never give up attitude, what would it be? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more inspiring stories to boost your English learning. See you in the next story.